Hello, my name is Nadia Lorena Campos Torres and I am going to tell you about the new learning trends. The language teaching approach. In language learning, there are differences between mother tongues and second language and foreign language. A mother tongue is the first language or language that one learns or acquires while as a child. When immigrants come to a new country and learn the language of the country, they are learning a second language. On the other hand, when Spanish-speaking students learn English at the school, they are learning a foreign language. The acronyms ESL and EFL represent the learning of English as the second language and as foreign language. I chose some of these theories because they are very important for the teaching and foreign language. The first was audiolingual. The theory behind this method is that learning a language means acquired habits. There is much practice of dialogues of every situation, and for the teach will this approach will need the tapes, language labs, and videos. The second was direct method. In this method, the teaching is done entering the target language. The learning is not allowed to use his or her mother tongue. Grammar rules are avoided and there are emphasis on good pronunciation. For a good teaching, the teacher needs the vocabulary and sentence and oral communication and grammar listening. For the three, I chose the grammar translation. The grammar translation, the learning is largely by translation to and from the target language. The grammar rules are to be memorized and long list of vocabulary will need. And for a good teaching, the teacher will need the grammatical rules, vocabulary memorization, and reading comprehension. The fourth is the natural approach. The natural approach was promoted by Krashen. Exists the similarities between learning and the first and second language. There are no correction of the mistakes, and the learning takes place to the students being exposed to the language that is comprehensible or made comprehensive to them. And for a good teaching, you will need the observation and interpretation, language in communicative situation, and native language. For the five language teaching approach was communicative language teaching, the CLT. The focus on this method is to enable the learning to communicate effectively and appropriately in various situations. The student will like to think herself in. For a good teaching, the teacher will need the task-based materials, authentic materials, and different skills. The sixth is content and language integrated learning, the CLIL. In this method, attempts are made to build strong personal links between the teacher and the students, so there are no blockades to learning. There is more talk in the mother tongue, which is translated by the teacher for repetition by the student. And for a good teaching, the teacher will need the pronunciation, the four skills that are used, and the communication. For the seventh, I chose task-based language learning. The focus on this teaching is on completion of tasks, which it itself is interesting to the learners. The learners use the language they already have to complete the task, and there are little correction of errors. And for a good teacher, the teacher will need the use of tasks to interact with students and personal experience. And for the A language teaching approach, I chose the silent way. The silent way is so called because the aim of the teacher is to say a little is possible in order that the learning can be controlled of the word to say. No use is made to the mother tongue, and for a good teacher, the teacher will need autonomous learnings, the teacher conduct the class, and the concentration of students. The language syllabus. A syllabus is a plan that contains how to achieve a good teaching and learning, and in addition helps to identify what type of kind of contents will be worked by the teacher in a correct and appropriate way according to several aims. The syllabus must be clear, it must contain a conceptual framework, and is composed by aims, content, methodology, and evaluation. I chose the grammatical syllabus. It's a simple and approximate method because it has been a standard in language teaching, learning grammar rules to apply them in the practical use to language. The notional function syllabus is focused in what the communicative role language and purpose of language is used in sometimes terms of social functions. The lexical syllabus is focused in the correct use and unique generative properties for each word or phrase, teaching vocabulary and the correct use of grammar rules. The task-based syllabus. This syllabus uses real topics for words in each learning, cognitive capabilities that create in each class expectation and motivation in the learning process. The productive and receptive language skills. When we learn our native language, first we listen, then we speak, then we read, and finally we write. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are the 4 language skills we need to develop to complete communication. And we have the productive skills, that is listening and reading. Receptive skill is speaking and writing. The productive skill, listening, is the ability to accurately receive and interpret a message in the communication process. We need the pre-listening, while listening, post-listening, pre-listening stage. Skill reading. The reading is an important part of learning a foreign language. This ability that enables a person to read with independence and interactive with the message. We need the decodency, fluency, vocabulary, and cohesion. The skill is speaking. Speaking skill is very important. It's the art of the communication with one or many people. Speaking can be used to practice new language. We need the fluency, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. And the skill writing. Writing skills are the more important part of the communication. Good writing skills allow you to communicate your message with clarity, right like listening involving a writing and the reading. And we need the grammar, spelling, punctuation, and orthography. Many thank you.